Ayima is a digital marketing agency. I guess we're called a niche digital marketing agency in that we specialize in particular areas of digital marketing, in particular search engine optimization. That's how we started, as a specialist search engine optimization agency. But throughout our 12 years of history, we've gradually picked up other disciplines as well. So we work with paid media, which would be Facebook, targeted advertising like programmatic advertising, Google AdWords, digital analytics, and data science. But we still consider ourselves an SEO agency fundamentally, I guess, and it's still around 60% of our business. We're based out of London. We have a big operation in the United States. So actually, I think about 50% of our revenue now is US based. We have, our clients are some of the biggest companies in the world. We have some of the biggest, 3 of the top 10 companies in the UK are our clients, and 2 of the top 10 in the United States. And typically they range in that area, multinationals and multi-billion-dollar companies. But we do also, as I said, work with startups. We work with medium-sized enterprises, e-commerce companies especially, and all the way to government agencies, as I said. It's all about finding information on the internet. It's always about being able to decipher a very large, complicated website or web platform and allow the user to find the information they need very quickly. Our revenue model is based on consultancy fees, but that does vary depending on the service. So we would charge day rates, or we would charge a monthly retainer, usually on a long-term contract. Or if it's a paid media model, like it would be based on percentage of spend commission. So for example, we do a campaign for 3 months worth $10 million. We would charge X% depending on certain targets or depending on volume of spend. So it does vary depending on the service, but we would consider ourselves fundamentally a consultancy. As I said, our clients are basically very, very large organizations. They have very complex platforms. It might be an e-commerce company with many millions of products available. For example, a large global e-commerce company that sells thousands and thousands of products, like eBay or Amazon. And a customer needs to be able to find exactly what they want very quickly without being led around a wild goose chase around the internet trying to find the precise product or specification. The same might go for government services. For example, if you're looking for unemployment services or a particular government form, you need to be able to find that straight away with one simple search without having to navigate a complicated government website. Why they chose us? Well, they chose us because we do offer the highest quality digital marketing services. We're not for everybody, in that we're quite a boutique agency and we specialize in a particular style of marketing. Typically that means we don't compete on price with our competitors. We compete on services. We offer a high quality service. Our typical client engagement is about 4 or 5 years on average. So 16.9 million times 4 or 5 gives us, upwards of 180 to 200 million in lifetime revenue from those clients. I'd say that we need to continue our marketing efforts, particularly in the United States. We have a good momentum and a very strong new business pipeline in the UK. And we've been established in the UK as a reputable company, a reputable digital marketing company in our space in particular for many years. So we're invited to all the big RFPs and all the big pitches, and we don't really have to do too much outbound effort to maintain our position in the UK. Of course, the UK is a very tight and competitive market compared with the US. We've made great inroads in the US, but we're barely scratching the surface there. I think that the market is 10 times at least the size, maybe 100 times the size of the UK, and it's far more fragmented in that we don't often see the same players, we don't see the same competitors pitching for the same clients. We see a real mixture of agencies in our space, from very, very small startups to huge multinational agencies or the big marketing groups who are pitching for the same clients. And we have a wide variety of knowledge of our industry as well. So sometimes we have very sophisticated clients and sometimes very unsophisticated clients in the US. But because the market is so much bigger, a medium-sized business in the US has significant budget and becomes a very large client, and is a very good way to grow the company. So We see that continuing to grow in the US as key to our growth. We have a slow, steady momentum in the UK, but the US could be explosive for us. It's already 50% of our revenue, and I think it could easily be 90%, and we could grow that dramatically with not that much effort, actually. Well, as you'll know from our recent financial reporting, we've been growing quite rapidly as a business. We grew approximately 41% year on year in 2018, did a turnover of about 183 million krona in the year. And we want to maintain that growth. As we've been discussing, we have massive growth opportunities in the United States. We feel we're barely scratching the surface in that market, and we want to maintain our momentum on growth in that market. As a growing company, of course, there's a lot of pressure on our working capital. We need to employ people, we need to be constantly doing marketing activity to attract new clients. And we don't want to be under pressure to cut costs at any time, to withhold that momentum in order to maintain our working capital. So we feel like it's necessary to raise some extra funds to strengthen our balance sheet and to ensure that we have a good cushion of working capital in the future. Additionally, we've been talking quite a lot last year about acquisitions, and we completed one acquisition in Q3 last year, and we announced that we were planning to do another one, which unfortunately fell through. We still have that on the agenda, so in order to be in a good position to make an acquisition sometime this year, we feel it's necessary to strengthen our balance sheet with additional capital. The best way to do this is through an equity raise. And we'll be looking for those opportunities to accelerate our growth and to strengthen the company in the future. As a business, we've been discussing our 3-year plan quite a lot amongst the management team and amongst the board. So we have a fairly good idea about where we see ourselves in 3 years' time. We intend to grow the business significantly overall. I would say many multiples of revenue. As I said before, we've been growing at approximately 40% a year, and we want to continue that growth, if not accelerate that growth. So in 3 years' time, we should be 2 to 3 times the size in terms of revenue. Additionally, with potential acquisitions, we could see that growth being significantly larger. However, we're obviously not going to just acquire for the sake of growth. We're going to acquire companies that are very closely strategically aligned with what we do, very similar and complementary services that allow us to cross-sell our services to a new customer base and broaden our customer base, potentially geographically as well. So we'll be looking at potential acquisitions in the US, which will allow us to get a better foothold in the US with maybe a larger customer base in the US, which will allow us to then become a far more established player in the market. There is plenty of market share in the US to be won, and it's just waiting for us to come there and pick it up. So in summary, Ayima is a solid company. We've been around for 12 years and we've shown consistent growth quarter on quarter, year on year for the last few years. As we've explained and demonstrated, profitability is around the corner, and we expect Q2 to be a strongly profitable quarter. We do expect our growth prospects to continue as well. We expect to become more established and a bigger and safer player in the future. All in all, as a shareholder myself, I have complete confidence that Ayima will deliver a strong return in the coming years.